How many people know what e-construction is? I've been talking about it for a couple years now. Oh, only a few people. Okay, well then we're going to go over it again. No, I'm kidding. I'm just going to go over it really briefly so that you guys get a good glimpse of what FHWA calls e-construction. So basically, it's a paperless construction administration delivery system. So what does that mean? Basically, they just want you to do everything paperless. Sign everything paperless, give me electronic documents. At TxDOT, you know, I know that more and more of us are getting accustomed to doing that, sending things by emails. But I think where we fail to really grasp the idea is I still see a lot of offices scanning documents to rename them and file them somewhere. That is really like anti-e-construction, okay? Don't get it by paper and then scan it. I see people spend a lot of time doing that. Get your contractors more accustomed to just giving it to you electronically. Everything, okay? Today, what I'm going to talk about, there's 5 things that you should be doing. It's kind of at the end of the presentation, but I want to let you know that if you go away just learning those 5 things, you'll be doing a lot more than your neighbor does already. So what does FHWA say about e-construction? Well, they say the paper-based system requires a significant amount of time and money to create the process and store the documentation. In this era of instant communication, on-the-fly information access, and tech-savvy workforces, the state of affairs is fast becoming obsolete. Okay, I'll tell you the biggest complaint from the other DOTs. We're storing all these documents and we pay for that storage. That's the biggest thing that they talk about is what do I do with all these documents? Where do I store them? And a lot of people say, oh, let's put them in the cloud. Great, now I have 2 copies, 3 copies, 4 copies. And that's what you see all these DOTs talking about is all this documentation. And if they got it electronically, that's where it goes. If they've got it in paper systems, they have warehouses and warehouses and boxes and boxes of construction documents. Again, we're trying to get rid of all of that. All of it, maybe not. Minimize it, that's what FHWA is looking for. Okay, so the initiative will modernize construction documentation management through the elimination of the cumbersome paper-based approach. In addition to saving money by decreasing paper use and printing and storing these documents, this initiative also saves time by decreasing the communication delays and transmittal time. The e-construction process allows for faster approvals, increased accuracy, and enhanced document tracking, all while increasing transparency. The process provides for a better foundation to help and improve communications and partnering, right? So their belief is that if we do more electronic communicating, our documents get faster, better, more reliable. And I'm kind of in that boat with them too. I think it's faster for sure. What I see us doing is collecting more and more documents now. Now there's all kinds of things I can collect instead of yesterday I could only collect these 10 pieces of paper. So FHWA likes to track us on 2 different scales, all right? E-construction, who's doing it in the United States? Well, in the little chart up here, Texas is in the yellow. We're one of the national leaders. I'll tell you, when we first started doing this a couple years ago, it didn't surprise me, right? I mean, we're Texas, we're ahead of everybody. But what surprised me was how far ahead we were just based on what we do. So let me give you an example. E-construction is about automating things, right? What did we automate many, many years ago? We got site manager in construction. That was about probably 14, 15 years ago, right? It's old to us now. Let me tell you, half of these states, they don't even use it. So that's new to them. We do electronic bidding. That's pretty old too at this point. That's new to other people. Okay, so we happen to have all those things that FHWA thought was conducive of e-construction. They said these are the things you need to have to be able to make things flow well. So we're on their map as far as national leaders in that. We're also on their map for 3D design and plans, right? So that's another initiative, not just paperless system. They love 3D design. I mean, they just love it. Renee's been really great at getting that implemented in TxDOT and having districts work on it. And if you've ever seen those plan sets, they're just really neat. So again, we're national leaders. I can tell you that there are a lot of states not even looking to go that direction, but FHWA is giving a lot of money in that direction. So next year, You know, I'm sure some people will take advantage of that. So what do we do at Texas? Well, in design, right now, as one of the new things, we use ProjectWise, right? Most districts should have it by now, and those that don't, I think it was like the Northeast districts, or maybe, and one metro district. ProjectWise is big. Lots of DOTs use it. It's in design right now. I think what you'll see in a little while, we'll talk about getting that into construction and maintenance. But as you get it flowing through all your sections in your office, in the area office, from the beginning to end, now you have one place where you have all your documentation. It's actually a pretty cool thing, to be honest, to get everything in one area. 3D modeling, again, design has also pushed for that. In letting, you know, I know most people don't think about letting and what goes on there, but, you know, I think last time I counted, we issued something like 12,000 proposals a year. You know, that's at least 1,000 a month. That's just proposals in paper, right? What if we delivered those electronically? Well, I'll tell you we do. We do many of them that way. Our bids the same way. And if you have 5 to 6 bidders on every job and we let 1,200 jobs, you know how much paper that is? It's a lot. So now we have the electronic bidding system, and what you'll see is we're upgrading that right now. I didn't include it in the presentation because that's kind of on the contractor side, but you might see it too, that they're upgrading that portion. We're upgrading the place where we put question and answers for pre-bid question and answers. We're posting those out on the website. I think Senate Bill 20 is going to require us to put executed contracts out on the website, right? That all kind of happens at that letting level. Contract administration, what do we use? Our biggest application is Site Manager for sure. We do use P6, and if you're not using it in construction, you should be. I know administration is pushing that way, and we'll go into that in a little while. EPRS is on the list because that's what we use for payrolls right now, but you can cross it off our list because we did purchase Lcp Tracker, and that's going to work for us much better, and we'll talk about that in a couple of slides too. iPads and using YouTube videos, big topic with the DOTs. They want to know why we use iPads instead of Surfaces. They want to know how we like them. We're going to hit on those topics. So what do? A lot. FHWA thinks this is what e-construction is all about. All right, so I'm going to talk about those 5 things, right? Number 1, ProjectWise. If you're not using it, use it, right? Everybody looks at me and they go like, what? Okay, so let me tell you how construction's going to use it. Take what the designers have, throw it all out the window. Okay, we're not going to do what they're doing. What they are going to do for us is this. They're going to build somewhere in, right when they cut a CSJ, they should build a folder in ProjectWise with the CSJ, right? There's only 2 district power admins. One of those people is going to build you a folder. It's going to have the CSJ on it. They're going to start inputting everything they want into there, the design files, the environmental documents, the AFAs, cross-sections, whatever they're doing, they're going to put it there. When they're done with it and it goes to letting, somewhere around letting time, they should move that folder over to another little area that says either CST working folder or it's maintenance working folder. It's only one of those 2, right? That's where you'll find it. After it gets there, that's your opportunity to start dropping your files. So let me tell you how easy this works. Right now, probably everybody who's got electronic documents has it in the T drive in a folder structure. Let's say you have 10 folders. You take that folder structure, and I'm not kidding, you right-click, copy, or cut, and paste, and it goes right into ProjectWise. About that fast, too. Now, if you have a lot of documents, like you want to put a job that's already established in there, that might take you some time. But if it's new and you're just dumping the folder structure in there, it'll take you a whole second. Once you have the folder structure in there, anybody can add documents. Once they're in there, they're in there. You're not deleting them, so be careful what you put in there. What do you put in there? Anything you want. Emails, spreadsheets, Word documents, Adobe files, your schedules. You can put almost anything in there. Now, ProjectWise resides outside of our systems, right? Outside of our firewall. So anywhere you're at, you can log on to ProjectWise, anywhere. On your iPhone right now, you can log on to it if you have an account and look at any project in there. When I say that, I mean you have access to the whole state of Texas and all their documents. Look at any job you want. Okay? You can put things in there. Again, well, You can put things in your folder. You'll have permissions to do that. You won't have permissions to put things in other people's folders. You'll never have permission to write over other people's information, just yours. Kind of. These are set up in like user groups, all right? There's a construction user group, a maintenance user group, a design user group. Once you learn all those, where you land in the user groups, you'll know what to put in and what not to put in and where to put it, right? But the good part is for construction folks and maintenance folks, you build your own folder structure until they tell us not to, right? But for now, build your own. And the reason I think we get to build our own and design didn't is because designers are sharing documents. So they need to know where to find other documents. Once it gets to our area, we're not really sharing documents. It's just a place for us to store things. So that makes it a lot easier for us. We don't have to have a real rigid folder structure. So again, if you got a lot of you get a lot of emails that say, you know, you got too much on the T drive, you can start moving it here. If you want to just start by saying, hey, every project I let this month, start there. You know, however you want to start moving, that's fine. Just get moving. All right, e-signatures. If you're not using e-signatures, you're behind the times. Okay, our administration's already using e-signatures, and you know how long it takes for them to start using things. So, what do you have at your fingertips? You've got DocuSign, you've got Adobe. How many people use the Adobe signatures? That's not enough. Let me tell you, it'll take you, let's just say 30 minutes to set it up. Let's pretend. 30 minutes to set up an e-signature. After that, it'll take you 2 seconds to actually use it every time you use it. It is so simple. Let's talk about some of the pros and cons, though. Using Adobe, you can have, if I sent you a letter, let's say it's a work start letter, and it has my signature at the bottom, I can sign it. I can have multiple people sign it. I can lock the document and no one else can sign it after me. Works just fine, right? I could email it around to my group or put it in a folder in the T drive and everybody can get to it. Works great. For internal stuff, works great when there's one signature or two signatures maybe. When do you use DocuSign? DocuSign is an external application. You got to have an IT ticket to get you access. But what you do is you upload your document, and if there's a template already created, it'll show you where the signature lines are. But if there is no template created, you'll have to put these little tabs that say this is where the signature goes. And then you forward it by email address to the people who need to sign it. DocuSign is great for people who do not reside within TxDOT because I can send it out to 5, 6, 7, 10 people. They can all sign it, and then that document will come back to me compiled in one document with all the signatures. Okay, I don't have to float it around. I don't have to email it around. I don't have to put it in the mail. So if I was having to execute something with somebody who didn't work for TxDOT, that's the route I would probably use. The good thing about it, too, is in DocuSign, it tracks who gets the document. Who gets the document, when did they open it, how long it's been there. I can put an expiration on it. If I only want them to have 10 days to sign it, it'll expire in 10 days and they won't be able to touch it after that. So there's some added functionality in DocuSign, but the downside is it's not as fast as Adobe is. If I had just one piece of paper in Adobe, I would email it over. DocuSign, I gotta upload it, have everybody sign it, and download it, right? Gotta know which one you want. Really you do. So for contract execution, work orders, DocuSign. Change orders, Adobe. Letters, Adobe. It's pretty simple. Again, each one of them makes it really, really easy to sign. What else? Anybody have questions about e-signatures? All right, they're going to kick me out in a minute. Mobile devices. Everybody's still talking about mobile devices. Basically, what I get from the IT folks is you can order whatever you want. Here's the kicker. They do not support any devices, right? We know how to do iPads. That's why we're choosing iPads right now. But if you get a Surface Pro or something else, you better know how to support yourself, okay? Hotspots or iPhones, there's no ups or downs there. Hotspot, you can have 5 people log on where you're at. An iPhone is only for, well, mostly only for you unless you made it the hotspot for other people, but I wouldn't pay for both of them. I know people who are paying double rates right now. Pick one, that works in your area. Again, iPads or Surfaces, there are some pros and cons. iPads have apps that work real great. Excel's not one of them. Microsoft Office isn't one of them. You can open it, it just doesn't work great, right? What about the Surface Pro? Well, I can open Excel and Office, but it's bigger. There's no carrying cases. It's got its issues too, okay? Again, IT's not going to tell you which one to buy. You're going to buy it yourself, but you better be comfortable with it. This might be the last one, Lcp Tracker. So we bought Lcp Tracker in the construction division. It's not rolled out quite yet, but it will replace EPRS for payrolls. It works really, really great. It only allows contractors to upload payrolls that are compliant. So once they're uploaded, there's very little checking these days. It almost does 100% check, whereas right now our requirement's 10%. You can also upload things like additional classification and wage rates, your labor interviews. Everything can be stored out there, which is really great on the web. And that's probably what we'll do the next survey from. Again, the construction division is just starting that initiative, so give it a month or 2 or 3, and you should start seeing. I think they're actually going to roll it out to AGC to let them see what the framework is. We're going to tweak it a little bit for our needs, but if anybody wants to start using it now, definitely contact the construction division, and I bet we'd let you be our pilot districts. Okay, I do have one more, P6. Bob's going to talk a lot about Primavera in a minute, so I'm not even going to cover this one very much. What I'm going to tell you is, if you're not using it, you should. There are more than enough licenses. The courses have been rewritten. I'm going to tell you this one for contract time determination. Time determination course is what they called it, but it actually is very good for construction folks to kind of get you very accustomed to just working with Primavera, right? And how to build schedules. The next course is the basic scheduling, which gets you into more of the layouts and the printing and the analyzing. In-depth course, it is not one of those, but if you have new people looking at Primavera, these are the ones you should take. You would schedule district-specific training with the construction division, okay?